Hello, my name's Justin Engelman, and in this video I'm going to show you some pretty easy ways to convert a photo to a nice black and white. So the first ways I'll show are through Photoshop. This is an old version of Photoshop, so these ways will work in pretty much all versions. The newer versions of Photoshop actually have some more, I guess, special black and white conversion adjustment layers, that sort of thing, but I'm happy with the ways that I'm able to do it here. So I guess the first way I can show you is really the simplest, but I don't actually recommend doing this, which is where you go to image mode and you just say grayscale. And now you see that it'll affect layer compositing, so it asks if you want to flatten or not. So like I said, I don't really recommend this. I can say don't flatten, and now you see there's a grayscale. It looks okay, but it could probably look a little better. So anyways, I don't really recommend that. That was just a quick demo of that. The next way that I sometimes will use is using a hue saturation adjustment layer. I mean, this is real simple. You go to actually layer, new adjustment layer, hue saturation, and we'll just call this desaturate. Click OK, and then just drop the saturation all the way down. It's really simple. Click OK. But now it's just an adjustment layer, so now you can adjust it further by, I can come down in here and say maybe create another adjustment layer, and we'll do a curves. We'll just call this curves 2, and then I can go in and maybe come to a different color for curves, and I can adjust based on just all the reds. Maybe I want to adjust them somehow, or I go down into my greens and I want to lighten the. You can just play around and see how that will look. And now if you were to, if I turned off the desaturate, you can see what that actually did with the colors in my color curves here. And I can turn on my desaturation layer again. So that's another way you can do it, another really simple way. Let me go back here. So now the third way, which is the way I tend to use most, I like most right now, it's another adjustment layer, but in this one I use the channel mixer. And I'll just leave it default name. So in the channel mixer, I'll go and I'll check monochrome. Now you can see that makes sort of a very interesting photo there, or black and white. But now I'll play around with the channels. I'll bring down the reds, but now I'll bring up the greens, and maybe I'll bring up the blues a little bit. Let's bring down the reds a little more, and so you can play around until you get something you like. You can also do the overall brightness. So bring down that a little bit more. And so this is really the way that I tend to like best. And on preview. And there's that. Excuse me. So that's really the best way. That's probably my preferred way, the channel mixer adjustment layer. Really easy to do, and it just seems like a lot of people don't seem to know this, so I figured I'd share it. But now let's go to one other way, which is, let's say you don't have Photoshop and you can't afford it. There's a program that you can find called PhotoScape, and it is Windows only, but it's free, so you can probably search for just PhotoScape, find it and download it. It's a very nice image editor. It's obviously not as good as Photoshop, but Photoshop costs something like $700, and this is free. But so with this, you can go to this bright color menu, and you can do saturation curve. And let's bring down the saturation. You can also play around with these curves to get some interesting effects. But then you can go into your luminance here, and let's say darken it some, and we'll lighten the bright some. And so you can get some pretty nice looking black and whites this way through a free program you can find on the web. So I just wanted to give you a sort of a alternative to Photoshop, free. So you don't have to have expensive software in order to create nice black and whites. But that's pretty much it there. I just wanted to show you it's relatively easy to create some pretty nice black and whites from pretty much any one of your photos. Not all photos will work in black and white maybe, but you can always look and see. I hope you found this useful.